ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृण्वतां स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तना हृदयन्तोऽस्ति अभद्राणि विदुनोति सहस्रतम्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 1, verses 30 through 32. Verse 30. Yavad avabhasyati suragiram anuparikramam bhagavan adityo vasudatalam aradhaneva pratapati aredhanavachadati tada hi bhagavad upasanopachiti purusha prabhavas tad anabhinandam samajeva rathena Jyotirmayena rajanam api dinam sharishyamiti saptakrit vastaranim anupakrat kramad dvitiya iva patanga. Synonym yavat, so long. Avabhyashyati, illuminates. Suragiram, the Sumeru hill. Anupikramam, by circumambulating. Bhagavan, the most powerful. Aditya, sun god. Vasudatalam, the lower planetary system. Ardhena, by half. Eva, certainly. Pratapati, makes dazzling. Ardhena, by half. Avachadyati, covers with darkness. Tada, at that time. He, certainly. Bhagavad Upasana, by worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Upachita, by satisfying Him perfectly. Ati Purusha, superhuman. Prabhava, influence. Tat, that. Anabhinandan, without appreciating. Samajavena, by equally powerful. Rathena, on a chariot. Jyotimayena, dazzling. Rajanim, night. Api, also. Dinam, they. Karishyami, I shall make it. Iti, thus. Saptakrit, 7 times. Vastarinam, exactly following the orbit of the sun. Anupariya kramat, circumambulated. Dvitiya, second. Eva, like Patanga, sun. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada ki jai. While so excellently ruling the universe, Kim Priyavata once became dissatisfied with the circumambulation of the most powerful sun god. Encircling Sumeru hill on his chariot, the sun god illuminates all the surrounding planetary systems. However, when the sun is on the northern side of the hill, the south receives less light, and when the sun is in the south, the north receives less. King Priyavrata disliked the situation and therefore decided to make daylight in the part of the universe where there was night. He followed the orbit of the sun god on a brilliant chariot and thus fulfilled his desire. He could perform such wonderful activities because of the power he had received by worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport: there is a Bengali saying which describes that someone is so powerful that he can make the night day and the day night. That saying is current because of the prowess of Priyavrata. His activities demonstrate how powerful he became by worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Krishna is known as Yogeshwara, the master of all mystic powers. In Bhagavad Gita 18.78, it is said, wherever there is a master of all mystic powers, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, victory, fortune, and all other opulences are present. Devotional service is so powerful. When a devotee achieves what he wants to accomplish, it is not by his own mystic power, but by the grace of the master of mystic power, Lord Krishna. By his grace, a devotee can accomplish wonderful things unimaginable even to the most powerful scientist. From the description of this verse, it appears that the sun moves. According to modern astronomers, the sun is fixed in one place, surrounded by the solar system. But here we find that the sun is not stationary. It is rotating in a prescribed orbit. The fact is corroborated by Brahma Samhita 552. Yasya Jnana Brahmati Sambhrata Kala Chakra. The sun is rotating in his fixed orbit in accordance with the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. According to Jyotirveda, the science of astronomy in the Vedic literature, the sun moves for 6 months on the northern side of the Sumeru hill and for 6 months on the southern side. We have practical experience on this planet that when there is summer in the north, there is winter in the south, and vice versa. Modern materialistic scientists sometimes present themselves as knowing all the ingredients of the sun, yet they are unable to offer a second sun like Maharaja Priyavrata's. Although Maharaj Priyavrata devised a very powerful chariot as brilliant as the sun, he had no desire to compete with the sun god. For a Vaishnava never wants to supersede with another Vaishnava. His purpose was to give abundant benefits in material existence. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur remarks that in the months of April and May, the rays of Maharaj Priyavrata's brilliant sun were as pleasing as the rays of the moon, and in October and November, both morning and evening, that sun provided more warmth than the sunshine. In short, Maharaj Priyavrata was extremely powerful, and his actions extended his power in all directions. Text 31. Yevayu hattadha rathacharana nemi krita parakshasте sapta sindhava asanyata eva krita sapta bhuvodipi. Dvipa synonym. Ye tat, whoa, certainly, tat ratha, of his chariot. Charana, of the wheels, Nemi, by the rims, Krita, made, Parikrita, trenches, Te, those, Sapta, 7, Sindhava, oceans, Asan became Yata, because of which, Eva, certainly, Krita, were made, Sapta, 7, Bhuva, of the Bhumandala, Dvipa islands. Translation. When Priyavrata drove his chariot behind the sun, the rims of his chariot wheels created impressions that later became 7 oceans, dividing the planetary system known as Bhumandala into 7 islands. Purport. Sometimes the planets in an outer space are called islands. We have experience of various types of islands in the ocean, and similarly, the various planets divided into 14 lokas are islands in the ocean of space. As Priyavrata drove his chariot behind the sun, he created 7 different types of oceans and planetary systems, which altogether are known as Bhumandal or Bhuloka. In the Gayatri Mantra, we chant Om Bhur Bhuvasva Tatsavitur Varenyam. Above the Bhuloka planetary system is Bhuvarloka, and above that is Svargaloka and heavenly planetary system. All these planetary systems are controlled by Savita, the sun god. By chanting the Gayatri Mantra just after rising early in the morning, one worships the sun god. Text 32. Jamba Plaksha Salmali Kusha Kronocha Saka Pushkara Samjnaste Samparimam Purvasmat Puravat Uttarat Uttaro Yatha Sankyam Dviguna Manena Bahi Samanta Upalta. Synonym. Jambu. Jambu, Plaksha, Salmali, Kusha, Kranaucha, Sakha, Pushkara, Samya, known as they, some of them, Parimamanam, measurement, Purvasmat, from the former, Uttara, the following, Yatha, according to, Sankyam, number, Viguna, twice as much, Manena, with a measure, Bahi, outside, Samanta, all around. Upalkta, produced. Translation. The names of the islands are Jambu, Plaksha, Salmali, Kusha, Kronacha, Saka, and Pushkara. Each island is twice as large as one preceding it, and each is surrounded by liquid substance beyond which is the next islands. The ocean in each planetary system has a different type of liquid. How they are situated is explained in the next verse. End of purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapatantikam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Good morning, devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to read from Srimad Bhagavatam this morning and seeking all your blessings. And please forgive me if I add my own interpretations. So right now we are seeing King Priyavrata's glories. So as we saw that Priyavrata is the son of Swayambhuva Manu, and then he was initially renounced, but then Lord Brahma ordered him to take over the kingdom and then to start ruling. So again, in this whole picture, it looks like somebody who was already renounced, someone who was already like focusing on the path of bhakti and all of that. And then that person now, Lord Brahma has pulled here to start ruling the kingdom. So it looks like kind of a controversial thing, right? Like when somebody is already renounced, why would you bring them back into ruling the kingdom? But however, this is a very good, clear example, I guess, King Priyavrata is establishing for all of us is that bhakti is irrespective of what different, as we say, right, the four ashramas we have the brahmachari, we have the grahastha, and then vanaprastha, and then sannyas. But here you can see that it doesn't matter what varna or ashrama somebody is in. Bhakti is very much irrespective of that. And even if King Priyavrata took over this responsibility to be the king, it just shows that he is even beyond, he's even higher than being a renounced life, because he's totally utilizing his service as a king in the service of the Lord. So being that is also devotional service. It's a very good example actually for even for all of us, that we are grihastas, we are here in the congregation trying to practice bhakti. This example of King Priyavrata, how he nicely he's establishing the kingdom, and also he gets married, and how he's continuing with his service as a great devotee of the Lord. So just kind of establishing the foundation here for all of us. It's beautiful to see that. So in this specific example, the explanation is given about the sun god, right? That sun circles Sumeru, and then what happens is how it is established is that the one side, because of the sun's movement, one side gets light and the other side is in darkness. And we know that, right? Exactly the opposite hemisphere is in day and night, especially India and US. Here we are exactly opposite. We can see that. So here it is explained that King Priyavrata, he did not like that inequality of the light. So what happened? How did he react? Is that he followed the sun in a blazing chariot, and he created another sun, which was creating equal daylight in both the hemispheres at the same time, both the sides. So, and then also the chariot formed the seven oceans and the seven islands. So we have to understand here, right? So what is this kind of established, right? It's like, oh, King Priyavrata did not like it, how it was the sun, and he just created another sun and he did all that. But we have to interpret this, right? So we have to understand that King Priyavrata is a pure devotee of the Lord. So when a pure devotee of the Lord sees something, and then he uses the power that he has in the service of the Lord, because it's very easy to interpret that King Priyavrata did this like independently, but we have to understand that everything that is done is coming from the Lord. So we have to understand that reality, like who is the real controller. And here Srila Prabhupada is explaining very well, right? That he quoted the Bhagavad Gita verse 18.78, Yatra Yogeshwaro Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara, Tatra Sir Vijayo Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystic power, there is mystery, there is victory. So here what happens is Krishna is that Yogeshwara. And all of the mystic power, all of everything comes from the Lord. So Priyavrata did not do this independently. Where did he get this power? He got this power from Krishna. And like Krishna is the powerhouse, right? We always say that, like how we have electricity lighting all the different bulbs and things like that, but we have the main power, electricity, similar like that. We have to understand this sambandha, that Krishna is the ultimate power, and then all of this capabilities to do everything comes through Krishna. And then the sun also moves by God's or Krishna's order, right? We have to understand that. And also Prabhupada quoted the verse from Brahma Samhita 552, where we know that it says that Yasyagye Brahmati Sambrato Kala Chakro Govindamadi Purusham Tamham Bhajami. The sun is rotating in its orbit by Govinda's order. So also from here we have understand that everything that we see in this system is governed. It is not like random, just something, just, like have sometimes atheism specifically, they'll believe that everything is just happening by its own accord. It's not like that at all. We have to understand how Krishna plays a major role in everything that is happening. This is all governed. Nothing is random, nothing is independent. Everything happens. Even a small blade of grass is moving because Krishna's permission is there. Krishna is allowing that to happen. So we have to really see that Krishna's hand in everything that happens. And also, we also have to understand that a devotee is never competing with Lord. Here, Priyavrata made a second son, but it was not like, oh, look at, now because this son is incompetent, because Krishna did something that was not enough, I'm going to do a second son. It is not that mode at all. But rather, Vaishnavas, whenever they're doing something, think of it as a service. It's always when we see that there is some opportunity to provide service, then we take that on and we do it. So here Priyavrata did that, but there was no envy. The mood of service was predominant, and that is the important part. That way, when we understand the relationship that Krishna is the source of all the power, all the energy, everything, and Krishna is the supreme, and as a servant of the Lord, we are really just being empowered by Krishna to do what we are able to do. And so that is how he did that. And then here we can see that once Priyavrata did that, right? So it's also like exactly like that we can compare that Srila Prabhupada is writing that when a devotee achieves what he wants to accomplish, it is not by his own mystic power, but by the grace of the master of mystic power, Lord Krishna. So let's think about that, right? Like even look at Srila Prabhupada's example too, that even Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur had asked him that India is a very pious land. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna, everybody, like it's like really the focus of spirituality in India. But it was so important that all this Vedic philosophy, all the teachings, understanding, spirituality did not exist in the West. So they identified that there is a need to take this message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the West. And that is how Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur empowered Prabhupada to take that message to the West. And Srila Prabhupada taking all the mercy from all of the disciplic succession, coming through Krishna, right? From Krishna through the disciplic succession, he was empowered to do something that never ever anybody could do that. So similar to like this, where we are looking at King Priyavrata, creating a whole difference and creating this whole 7 islands, 7 oceans, and everything like that just seems like, whoa, how did he even do that? But similar to like that, we can also look at what Srila Prabhupada accomplished, like amazing, like something people can't even do in such a short time of period. But he did that. He saw there is a deficiency. He saw there was some darkness. There was lack of knowledge. So he brought all that knowledge onto the West, and so completely compassion. There is so much compassion. There should not be any darkness anywhere. So we can kind of compare that to how a devotee also acts. Like wherever devotee sees that there is a deficiency, there is a need for compassion, a devotee will perform service. It may look different. We are not all creating a second sun over here, but it will look like whatever there is deficiency, then we provide some of the service. Like example, very simple examples we can see, right? The different services we have in our temple. Example, um, even Mataji, right? She, when she saw that there was like deficiency of for children, the children did not have enough reading program, so immediately Madhumai Mataji started the reading program for the children. That's just a simple example I can think of, but like that, many of the devotees will see that there is a deficiency somewhere and they want to implement some of the things to help with the preaching mission. Again, I'm just going in a different direction, but these are just some of the realization that comes from reading the couple verses here today, that a devotee always understands who Krishna is, all the power, everything. All my capabilities are coming from the Lord, and then I'm going to utilize that in Krishna's service, helping move the preaching mission forward. With that, I would like to end. Vanchakalpatarubhesha kripa sindhubhye evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti vaishnavinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.